Just over a year and a half ago, I published a video on whether the Apple Watch Ultra is useful for women. We all know that September is the month for Apple news, and it's not going to be an Ultra 3 this year. Drama! I still wear this every single day. Have there been any major updates since we last spoke? No, there have not been. Can you get basically all these features on a normal Apple Watch? Yes, you can. But would I buy this again? Yes, I would, because I don't have any cover on this and it's lasted really, really well. There are no scratches, even though it probably bashes into things more because it's bigger. It's durable. It's so durable. Should an Apple Watch automatically be durable because it's wearable? Yes, 1,000 times yes. Is it? No. Ergo, I want to protect myself and get the more expensive version so it is the durability that I'm expecting. C'est la pomme. Because there haven't really been any software... Okay, there have been software updates. There are always software updates. You know, with most Apple pieces of tech that you need an update because the battery is going down faster. You go, ooh, is it trying to tell me something? Oh, I have to do an update. I think that's the way that they're making you do the updates now. It's really blimmin' annoying. But there haven't been any massive software updates that I'm aware of for this watch or the Apple Watch Ultra 2. Haven't really been dwelling on the two, obvious reasons. Therefore, I'm still sitting pretty waiting for a better siren, better usage of the temperature statistics, and to be honest, better battery life. Because yes, this does have better battery life than your average Apple Watch, I think. However, I'm still charging it every day if I use it. Something that I've set up... It's so hard to do the S's. Did I always have a lisp? I'm overthinking the teeth because of Invisalign. Something I've set up on my phone is to have it permanently in low power mode, and that does seem to drag out the battery life. Setting that up is not 100% straightforward, but how to do it and a few other tips and tricks I will link in my video about iPhone hacks in the eye. I don't know which side it is. I haven't looked at how to set that up on my watch, but that would probably help. But basically, if I do a workout in a day, I will have to charge it. Because I don't just do like 5-minute workouts, I do an hour walking or something, and because it's taking more readings like heart rate and GPS, then it just drains the battery, which I just don't think is appropriate for a fitness tracker. I don't think you should charge it every day. When I purchased it, I knew that would be the case, so more fool me. I do still really like how my watch unlocks my laptop because I have an Apple laptop. But again, security-wise, not the most amazing. Just really convenient because you go to your laptop, you press a button and magically it unlocks. And the people next to you are like, oh, how snazzy, how seamless. It is really convenient. It saves you a few seconds. I've got a Windows computer as well that doesn't work on, obviously. And it is annoying. So I think I prefer the convenience over the security, which is so bad. I don't use a load of the features on the watch. Bottom line for me, I think the only difference would be the fact that it's pretty durable compared to a normal Apple Watch, but I really do value that durability. May not be abundantly clear, but that was the summary ramble. What we're going to do now is focus on how this watch in particular has fared after 1.5 years after I posted the video, or 2 years since I got it almost. This is obviously from my perspective as a female in terms of how annoying is it. And I will say that of all the people I've seen with an Apple Watch Ultra 1 or 2 in the last couple of years, I think there's maybe been one other woman. Mostly it's men. Not many people have them. You can tell by the bright orange bit, you kind of eagle eye into it, but only one other woman has had it. We're not a big populace. First up, design and wearability. This is big on a small wrist. It feels like you have a large piece of tech on your wrist. It feels like you've got a brick phone from the 90s. However, I got used to it pretty quickly, and I said that in the last video. I tried it on in advance because I didn't want to commit to such a high price point if it was going to be too much. But I'm pretty easygoing, which you wouldn't necessarily think, but I am pretty... I just go with the flow. My family's watching this like, no, she's not. I really am. If this sort of thing really bothers you, then it will bother you, but just try it on and see how you feel. It doesn't particularly feel heavy. I'm aware that it's there. Every so often I might feel a bit sensitive one day and I might notice it, but most of the time I'm just aware that it's there. Like right now, I'm thinking about it, I'm focusing on it, I'm talking about it, I can feel it. On to the bands. This is the original band that it came with. I have bought a few bands over the years, all 2 of them. If you muck up and get the wrong size, it will still go in, it will still be functional, but there'll just be a big gap so it won't be as streamlined a design. Dirt can get caught in it and maybe other things can get caught in it, so you don't really want that, but it's still functional, you can still use it, just a slight risk. But of all the bands that I've used, the Apple one unfortunately is the best. It is the most comfortable, it fits the best. None of the duplicates do as well, or if they do, then they blimmin' broken. That was annoying. I spent a few quid extra on a metal one and it broke within the first week. It's quite an expensive investment for that to just pop off, but it wasn't It was just like from a corner shop, so I shouldn't really have been surprised. I was just outraged. For me, hands down, the Apple ones are the best, which upsets me because they don't have the same colour options. And I really like this type of material band. I hate silicone bands so much because they get so stinky. Why do people wear them? How do they wear them? Is it me? Is it my skin? What's going on there? I had a Fitbit before and that had a silicone band and it was disgusting. I hate that stanky skin smell. Never again. Always material. And then when we come onto the metal ones with the links, it just gets caught in my arm hair. It just hurts. Why? So you're stuck with quite dark and boring colours, whereas I want, I don't know, like a cream, a pastel, a rainbow, all of those ones. I just don't have the same options. And even if I wanted to extend my watch band wardrobe, then it would be about 20 quid a pop, which just seems a bit extreme for a bit of material. Hypothetically, you could get the little clasps secondhand, so if people were selling some of their watch straps, you could cut off whatever's attached to it and then sew it on. I have thought about it, but I don't really know how to source this sort of material. It's one of those somewhere in the brain ideas, but not something I'm actually actively looking into. So if you know of any independent makers of Apple Watch Ultra bands that are really good quality, I would definitely be interested. Probably the girlier the better, but not twee. I don't like twee. Jumping back to the size briefly, it doesn't affect me during sleep or anything. I don't notice it any differently then or another time. The only thing I would say is because it is big, you are probably more likely to whack it into things. Mine is absolutely fine because they have stepped up for the sapphire glass or whatever it is, so it isn't chipping or scratching, and that is just amazing. Numero dos, health and fitness features. There is a menstrual tracking app on here and it is okay. It does list a load of menstruation symptoms that you may not automatically think of, like bladder incontinence, chills, constipation, fatigue and hair loss. Those are really interesting. I shed like nobody's business. I don't know how I have hair left, honestly. But you wouldn't necessarily think about them. I do think that there may be some symptoms that are appropriate to one individual person that may not be listed on there, and there's not an option to add that. So maybe you would just put something that you do not get, like constipation, and then you know in your head that it's that might be a way around it. But I think that having the option to add more would be good. I don't think you do have it. It's not obvious. Maybe it's on the app or something. I haven't really looked into it. I just go, oh yes, that sounds like something I've had today. Tick tick tick. And I'm getting into the habit of going yep. There are also things on there that I don't use, like ovulation test results, but I imagine if you do use them, it's really useful to have that there. You can export data from the Apple Health app. As a background analyst, it would be really nice to have some sort of reporting functionality that you can fiddle around with, charts and stuff. Maybe add that to your home screen. It might be there, but it's not really obviously there, therefore I don't think it's there. Francis has a Garmin and it tells him whether his blood pressure is up, so it's like, are you stressed? Maybe you should stop doing the thing that's stressing you out, which in itself is kind of a nice idea. But normally when you're stressed, if something says chill out, that doesn't help. Calm down. No, the Apple Watch doesn't do that. I have a feeling that maybe at one point it did, but I could be talking out the wrong end. A bugbear I still have is I think you should be able to edit your fitness goals per day, and you can't do that. You just say, oh, it's this many calories forever. You should be able to customize that because you should have rest days. For a fitness tracker, if you're really wanting to listen to it instead of going, oh, it's fine, today I'm not doing that, I don't think it holds you as accountable as it should. You just get into that mindset of ignoring it, and that's not what it's there for. Sleep tracking is okay. When it works, it's really good, and it does work 90% of the time, but sometimes it just has a big block and says in bed, and I haven't worked out what the difference between it splitting up your sleep cycles and that is. I don't know if it's low power mode. I think it probably is low power mode, but I'm sure it's happened on times when I haven't put it on low power mode. So it's a little bit of a weird one. I still need to work that out or Google it, but it hasn't bugged me to the extent that I've done that. I do like looking at my phone and being like, I got X number of hours sleep. It's not perfect. Also, really annoyingly, if you've put a sleep schedule in there, it won't clock if you've gone past your alarm. So I put an alarm in for like 7 o'clock, and then if I've stayed up really late and it's the weekend and I've turned the alarm off and kept sleeping until 8, it won't register that extra hour of sleep. But yet if I go to sleep earlier, it sometimes does. I don't think you can go back and edit that, is the irritating thing. If I could go, actually, no, hold on, can you look to this time? Because it's got the readings. That'd be a bit different. That's really irritating because when I'm looking at my sleep over the year, I don't actually know what the number is. I go, that's quite low, but I know it should be higher, but I don't know how much it should be higher by. That's annoying. Safety. We've talked about siren very briefly. I haven't really used any of the safety features. I haven't needed to. I do sometimes use the tracking back, but when you're not in America, it's not as big of an issue. And also I've normally got access to Google Maps, so I'll use that instead. And I normally turn the tracking on accidentally instead, which is irritating. So right now it's more annoying than anything else because again, it also drains the battery life, which I don't want. I will say sometimes the buttons get knocked and do things like that. I have a timer on a lot of the time because I have Invisalign and need to track how long I've had them out for. I do keep getting the timer paused, and that's partly because you should put the timer on and then close it effectively, as in that's not the first thing you see, but sometimes it will switch back to it because it's like, oh, this is a recent app, the salon, do you want to see it? And then if I'm like crossing my arms or linking arms with my bow, then it just gets knocked, it gets turned off, and then I don't know at what point. I have to do some maths. I'd be like, okay, well, I woke up at this time and then I went out at this time and then I made a purchase at this time and this is when I took my teeth out, this sort of thing. But it's also user error. But it isn't easy for the user to not make the error. A bit of a balance, quite a specific use case. You also would not be able to use this on multi-day hikes, and that I'm sure for some people is very irritating. Because we are traveling, we have a power bank with us, and worst case, I would charge this off that. Battery life is annoying for a rugged wearable, but I made that choice. I knew that that was a thing. I'm getting annoyed at the fact itself. They don't really advertise that it's going to last a week. They do advertise that it'll last a couple of days, but honestly, that's just if you do not use the workout functions. I do not have an endless supply of watches, so I cannot give you any insight as to whether this is better than any other brands. I will say my experience with Apple recently, I don't have multiple phones on the go. Apple, generally, it is stupidly expensive, but it does work. That is kind of the core of it. Whenever I've had an Android phone, it's just stopped working in the first year or so, and it's probably bad luck. And that was a while ago, so don't take that as gospel. But Apple has delivered on the watch in that a year and a half later, it's still working. I'm expecting this watch to last for a while. I will not replace it unless it gets really annoying with the battery, which is frustrating, because that's what they like to do, to make you buy the next one. As of right this second, I would probably still get another one. It's integrated with all my other things and I'm used to it, and it works well doing what it's doing. The durability factor for me just makes this the obvious choice. I don't want to be really worried about a delicate thing on my wrist. I'm not the sort of person who has really delicate things on my body. I look for durability and functionality, and that is what this is. I made this purchase wanting to wear this every single day, and I have. I've had to work around the battery life limitations, but it has done what it said on the tin. I've got an event in a couple of weeks where I need to look pretty, and this is not pretty. So I'm wondering whether I can strap it around my ankle. I think that will work because it needs to get the heart rate notifications, and I want to wear it because otherwise I'll have a big gap in my data and that'll be annoying. This is not the prettiest thing in the world, but I don't think any watch is really. No, I don't think any watch is. I feel just hide. But then my nails, what do I do? I need to make the choice. Also, I have a tan line. Oh no! Oh, I don't move it from wrist to wrist. I really don't like things being on my wrist either, so I had to mentally deal with this. I'm not moving over to the other wrist that hasn't had the training for a watch. So that's where I stand on the Apple Watch Ultra for women a year and a half later. Basically, exactly the same. And in two ways, that's really not a good thing, because the battery life will have degraded, because that's what batteries do over time, especially Apple. But also, we're going through an AI absolute mega boom. Maybe I could connect the data to a tool and play around with it, but that's what I'm looking to Apple to do. They're supposed to be adding extra bits of information. I haven't really seen any massive upgrades that I've noticed on this, on the software side, in the last couple of years. I think you buy it at that point and they go, oh yeah, maybe we'll add something. I wouldn't bank on it. I think you have to buy an Apple product at that point for what it has at that point. I also would say, don't bank on being able to resell these things. That's just personal experience. I've never been able to resell an Apple product for what I think it's worth. You have to be honest with yourself as to whether you want to commit to the price point for that piece of tech at that point, and think about all the hours that you've spent working. That's a really negative point to end on. Have a lovely week. See you later. Bye. My brain's fried, so for an outro, I'll leave you with this. Apple Watch do-do-be-do-be-do, Apple Watch do-do-be-do-be-do, Apple Watch do-do-be-do-be-do, Apple Watch. Apple Watch do-do-be-do-be-do, Apple Watch do-do-be-do-be-do, Apple Watch do-do-be-do-be-do, Apple Watch. That's ridiculous. I loved it.